Okay, hello again. Fireburns Within channel. Time for a recap of the albums that I heard in August 2020. I heard 39 full albums this month in full. Most of them only the once. But a fair few of them quite a lot, especially the ones that I like the most. Yes, so I always start with the lowest ranked. Everything that gets to a full listen with me, normally I sample a lot of albums coming out. Some of these are quite. I think some of them are actually slightly older albums, but most of them are August released. But what I do is I sample a lot. If I like a sample from YouTube, I'll try to get to the full album if I can and give it a full listen and make up my mind on a rating. Sometimes only once, sometimes twice, sometimes three, four times if I can get round to it, and then if I really like it, then 4 or 5 times. Okay, so coming in at the lowest position in my listening for this month is a band I don't know, Good Tiger. The album is called Raised in a Doomsday Cult. It's like a prog rock band, modern prog rock, sort of dreamy vocals. I thought I was going to like it more, but I'm only able to give it a 5 out of 10. It didn't really do it for me in the end. Next is a band called Acerus, and the album is called The Tertiary Rite. I don't know where this band is from. I heard a sample and it sounded quite promising. Then I listened to the full album and it was okay, but it didn't really do it for me. I gave it a 6 out of 10. They're like a power metal band, I should add. Next is a band called Assignment, and the album is called Reflections. Very good vocals in this band. Diego Valdez, Argentinian guy, I believe. He does very heavy Dio-like vocals. The band is sort of like a progressive band, progressive metal band. The album is quite long-winded. I found it quite hard to get through. I mean, the vocals are really good though, so if you enjoy Dio-like vocals or you want to hear some Dio-like vocals, then check out Assignment. But the music I couldn't really give a high rating. I gave a 6 out of 10. Next album is Janet Gardner's a new album with sort of, it's like a solo album, but it's with a band as well and a chap, her writing partner. It's called Synergy. Janet Gardner is the ex-Vixen singer. The production on this wasn't as good as I was hoping for, but the guitar work is really cool. The songs are okay. Janet's vocals are okay, but not amazing. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's okay. Next is Night League, a YouTube discovery. The album is okay. It's retro metal. Male and female vocals. I thought initially I thought I was gonna like it a bit more, but I could still only give it a 6 out of 10. Next is a band called Reasons Behind, and the album is called Project Mist. This band is basically following the Amaranth school. It's melodic, poppy, metal, female vocals, no other type of vocals though. Initially I thought it was going to be really good, but the songwriting didn't really excite me. It's okay. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Next is a band called Sacred Serenity, and the album is called Redefining Life. A band I discovered whilst doing the usual on YouTube. They sounded like a death worship band, and they even take their name from a death song. Unfortunately, the production on this is really poor. It's sort of not clear. It's quite fuzzy. The riffs are good. I mean, they're okay. The vocals are not the best. I thought I was gonna like it more because I tend to like a lot of death worship bands, but I gave it a 6. It's okay. It's good. Next is Awake by Design, a self-titled album. It's a UK melodic power prog mix between the two. Initial single was tempting enough to seek out the whole thing, and it was good. It was nearly very good, nearly good. I don't know, maybe it needs more plays to get into it, but the songwriting didn't really excite me too much. I gave this a 6.5 out of 10. Next is something a little bit out of my comfort zone, but the lead single really intrigued me. It's Biffy Clyro, Celebration of Endings. Now, I don't like Biffy Clyro much at all. A few songs here and there. I mean, a couple of songs I really like, and it's the same with this album. A couple of songs are really, really cool, 2 or 3 songs, and the rest is not really for me. It didn't do a lot for me. It's nearly a good album for me. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Next is a band called Black Rose Maze with the self-titled album out on Frontiers Records. It's sort of like melodic rock, hard rock with a female singer. Good solid heavy riffs. Her voice is okay, it's good. There's a duet with Jeff Scott Soto that's really good. The album is okay. It's not wowing me in any great way or shape or form. I gave it a 6.5. It's nearly a good. 7 is my cutoff for being a good album. If something gets a 7 with me, I class 7 as good, and then upwards we're going above good and so on. So it's nearly a good album. Next is a biggie. It's Deep Purple and the album Whoosh. Yeah, it's a good album, nearly a good album again. Some of it is good. I don't like the production on it. It's quite, I don't know, the guitar doesn't sound very good to me. Ian Gillan's voice is very good. The songs are half good and half bit boring. It's nearly a good album. I still couldn't only give it a 6.5 out of 10. Sorry, Deep Purple fans. Next is English traditional heavy metal band Fury and the album The Grand Prize. I think it's been out a while, this. I only just heard it in August. The lead single was okay. I wanted to like this more. I really, really did. The music is quite good. The riffing is cool. The vocals in this album, this band, is not really my cup of tea. I don't find his voice, I don't know, just something not right with his vocals. The tone is not right, or he doesn't have the right kind of melodies that I enjoy. I mean, it's nearly there. It's nearly a good album. I still had to give it the same 6.5. Next is High Spirits and Hard to Stop. Again, I really wanted to give this a higher rating. I see a lot of people praising this, but I still had to go for a 6.5. There's bits and pieces of it that just doesn't do a lot for me, just passes by and you listen to it. There's many cool parts, like cool songs, cool upbeat riffs, good melodies, but I don't know, maybe it needs more plays, but it didn't really hit the sweet spot for me. Next is a German heavy metal band, heavy metal hard rock, mixed between the two. It's Mad Max and Stormchild Rising. The lead single I really enjoyed, and then listening to the whole thing, I got the feeling that it's sort of like two different albums. Like one half really good melodic catchy metal, and the other half gets quite bluesy and quite slow, which is not my thing at all. So again, I had to settle for the 6.5. I couldn't really say I love or like the album in any great shape or form. Next is a new band to me. I'd never heard of them. They're a Dutch prog rock band called Saris, and the album is called Beyond the Rainbow. I heard this on Bandcamp. This was quite cool. I mean, I'm not a big prog rock listener, but I quite like this in small doses. Like I quite like the vocals. I quite like the riff style, the sort of like slow melodic feeling. The keyboards, especially, very interesting keyboards. Quite cool. 6.5 again out of 10. It's not my favorite kind of listening. Okay, now we move on to the 7 out of 10s and upwards. First 7 out of 10 is a very new UK band to me called Blitz, and the album was Fight to Survive. Again, this was good. This was like, I heard a song on YouTube and I thought these guys are worthy of a further investigation. They play like just melodic, classic heavy metal, a little bit of hard rock thrown in. So it's like a borderline between heavy hard rock and melodic metal. Catchy riffs. The vocals are not the best. They drag the album down a bit, but I quite like this. I mean, I gave it a 7. I quite liked it. Next is a mix between AOR and prog rock. It's Dukes of the Orient and Freak Show. John Payne on vocals. He's a very good singer, ex-Asian Man. And Eric Norlander, he's a keyboard guy. He's a keyboard expert, that dude. This is a good album. I mean, it's solid. It's quite melodic. It's quite catchy. Some of the songs are not really like exciting. They pass by without any fanfare. But there's stuff in there that can easily be enjoyed, especially if you like John Payne's vocals. Okay, the next album is a new band to me. It's called Ghost Avenue, and the title is Even Angels Fail. This is like a melodic heavy metal band, very 80s style. It's catchy, good cool riffs, a lot of cool melodies, decent production. It's only the singer that slightly annoys me. His delivery is not the kind that I really enjoy. It's quite rough sounding a little bit. The songs are okay. They're good songs. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Next one is a totally different band. I wouldn't even normally try this, but I tried a single and it really caught my ear. They're called In Heart's Wake, and the album is Kaliyuga. They're from Australia. They're a melodic metalcore band. Obviously they're very heavily growls, fixated with growls, but there's also a lot of melody as well. The production is really heavy. It's in your face. The songs are quite catchy. I think it's a cool album for a metalcore album. Normally I wouldn't like hardly any metalcore, but this one caught my ear, so I listened all the way, and I quite enjoyed what I heard on this album. The next album, and the last of the 7 rated albums, is Miracle Flare and Synchronism. This album's actually came out some time ago, but I never heard it then. They're like a typical European symphonic power metal band with a female singer. I enjoyed this. This is a solid album. It's catchy. It's pretty melodic. Her vocals are nice. The production is nice. If you enjoy symphonic European style power metal with catchy melodies and a female singer, more specifically, then definitely check Miracle Flare out. Okay, the 7.5 rated albums. Got to speed this up. 15 minutes already. Right, 7.5. Yes, it's Alcatraz and Born Innocent. Graham Bonnet's old band back together. Well, he's brought a troupe of different type of guitarists. This is much better than I thought it was going to be initially. I think this is really cool. Graham sounds good for a man who's, what, 72, I think he is. He sounds really good. The songs are good. The production is okay, sometimes a bit iffy, but the songs are mostly good. I gave this a solid 7.5. Next is a band called Antagonism, World on Disease. This is a thrash metal band, pretty unknown from France. I only heard it recently, actually. I'm very, very impressed with this heavy thrash metal. The vocals are quite melodic, but you can sort of tell his French accent, which is a bit funny. But I quite like this band. I mean, if you like thrash metal, definitely give Antagonism a chance. Next, another new band to me. They're called Black Knight, and the album is called Road to Victory. I actually did a reaction video for their single. This is how I've heard of them, and I really enjoyed that, and I thought, well, I've got to give these guys' album a try. And the album is really good. I mean, it's traditional heavy metal mixed between Maiden and Priest. I mean, if you're gonna, copy some bands, well, you might as well copy the best. So that's what they did do, and it sounds really cool. Black Knight from Belgium, I believe. Next is another recent discovery, a totally different kind of music. The band is called Broadside, and the album is Into the Raging Sea. Again, I did a reaction video for this. I think it's a really cool album. It's a totally modern rock album with sort of like boyish vocals, very slightly emo-ish themes. It's not something I would normally like, but the choruses in this album are really, really catchy. The guitars are, pretty heavy as far as this type of music goes. The melodies are really cool. The songs are memorable. I had to give this a 7.5. I couldn't give any less. Next is a US power metal band. This is just an EP, actually. The band is called Incursion, and the EP is called The Hunter. But this is really good. I mean, the singer's voice is really quite low and very melodic. He's not like a high-pitched singer. The music is typical power metal. I mean, it's quite fast-paced. Not like overly fast. Not like some of the German style speed or some of the Swedish power metal band speeds. But they're sort of like mid-pace, some faster songs, pretty heavy, pretty melodic. Well worth listening to if you like your power metal. Incursion, The Hunter, 7.5. Next album, coming back to the UK, Onslaught, Generation Antichrist. Again, I reacted to a song to this. I heard the album. The album is rock solid, heavy, fast, very fast at times, quite brutal. Vocals are sort of quite understandable, although very screechy and heavy, but still quite understandable. Not over the top, like going into death metal territory quite. This is a rock solid album. It's perhaps not quite as good as I was hoping for it to be, but it's still rock solid. I gave it a 7.5. The next album and band, I don't even know. They're called Steel Swarm, and the album is called Aspects of Dissonance. I think they're from Australia. I heard a song by this and I thought, wow, this is quite interesting. Let me listen to this. They were they're very modern band, sort of modern progressive metal, a mix of vocals, some clean, some screams, but not over the top screams, like just reasonable screaming, not screeching or very growly or over the top. Just okay, bearable. The music is really cool in this band. Very melodic, very catchy. Even the melodic vocals are quite good as well. Steel Swarm, 7.5 for these guys. Next is an older album that I listened to in August. It's Thunder Mother and Heatwave. They're an all-girl AC/DC worship type band. Now, normally I wouldn't like them because I'm not huge into my AC/DC worship bands or copy bands. I don't like. I mean, you know, the ones that are famous, Airborne and so on. There's a few of them. I'm not really into them, but this album I really like for some reason. It's quite catchy. Her vocals are really good. It's not out and out AC/DC worship. There is a hint of their own style as well, but the majority of the album is AC/DC style, but without sort of like it's a little bit more refined, shall we say? It's not so, you know, full AC/DC worship. This is more melodic. So I gave that a 7.5 out of 10 again. Next album. Got a few albums left, so it's not too bad. Might reach the 30-minute. Next album, going back to Australia, Vanishing Point and Dead Elysium. I've liked these guys in the past. I like the lead single. They're like a progressive metal band from Australia. Little bit of power metal, but mostly prog, but not over the top prog. They're very sort of melodic, heavy prog. They're not like Dream Theater too much. This album is rock solid. I mean, it's melodic. The vocals are good. I think it needs a little more time given to it than I have so far. It's catchy. It's solid. It's melodic, and it's heavy. So 7.5 out of 10 for Vanishing Point. Next album, going to Sweden, it's Vionity and Sorrows. Now, Vionity is a band I've liked a lot on their 2 previous albums, and I was really looking forward to this. And I should be rating this about 8.5, between 8.5 and 9. But at the moment, I can only go to a 7.5. It is a good album. It's melodic power metal. It's catchy. The vocals, I think, were better on the previous album. They're still good, but I don't know. I seem to remember enjoying them more on the previous album, especially the choirs. This album is a little bit harder to get into, hence a slightly lower rating from me. But I think given more time, it will grow on me a bit more. But it is a good album. Vionity, Sorrows. Check it out if you like Swedish power metal. Okay, next we're going to America. Vicious Rumours and Celebration Decay. The lead single I loved. It was so heavy. I mean, the album on the whole is really heavy. The guitar sound is huge. The singer especially, he's an awesome find. I don't know where they found this guy. His name is Nick Courtney. I don't know where he's from, where his background or what, but he's an amazing singer. Very powerful, quite melodic. The songs are mostly very good, but there's a part in the album where things start to get a little bit slow going, so I've had to reduce my rating from say an 8 to a 7.5 for Vicious Rumours. But it's a good, solid heavy metal album. I mean, it's really solid. Okay, reaching the 8 out of 10s. Next one is Cytotoxin and Nucleearth. Cytotoxin is a technical death metal band. I forget where they're from. This album is like got a huge production. Like when you listen to it, riffs are heavy as hell. Very clean sound. Vocals are very heavy, very brutal, but I like the vocals. I mean, they're not like gargling, which is the kind that I don't like too much. I mean, it's not like it's decipherable, but it's not stupidly sick either. Like, you know, gargling. It sounds like you're gargling in mud. That kind of vocal, which I don't really like. The riffs are absolutely jaw-droppingly amazing on this. The production is amazing. The solos are very good. If you like your technical death metal at warp speed, but with great melodies in between as well, great riffs, you know, over the top technique, then definitely check out Cytotoxin. 8 out of 10 for those guys. Next album, totally different again. It's Slaves and To Better Days. This band got some notoriety because I read about them in Blabbermouth, and they changed their name because of they didn't want to be associated with the slaves issue that was all the rage a while ago. That, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement and all that stuff, where they said, well, it's not a very nice name, so we'll change the name. But this album was too late for that, so they released it under the name Slaves, and it's an awesome album. I love this. I mean, it's totally poppy, but it's heavy pop. It's like heavy, melodic, catchy boy band pop. It's very similar to that earlier band that I mentioned, Broadside, but this is even heavier. I mean, it's more melodic. It's really catchy. I have to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a very cool album. Okay, next, going to Germany for some power metal. Terra Atlantica, Age of Steam. This is a really cool album. It's really melodic. It reminds me of, say, a mix between Gamma Ray and, say, Edguy, or a little bit of Halloween as well. Very cool album, very cool look. The vocals are sort of a little bit like Kai Hansen, but a little bit weaker, not quite as cool. The melodies are strong. The catchiness is there. I mean, whilst you wait for a Gamma Ray, or whilst you wait for the next Halloween, if it ever gets finished, definitely check out Terra Atlantica. I gave that an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm going to Canada. Unleash the Archers and Abyss. This is an awesome album. No two ways about it. Apex, their previous album, was really awesome. I think this is a little bit below Apex, not a lot, a little bit below. I gave this an 8 out of 10. This is mostly great. The production is great. Britney slays. Her voice is awesome. There's a little bit of screaming here and there. Not a lot. Not too much for those who don't like the screaming vocals. It adds a good contrast. The production is really good. It's a rock solid follow up to Apex. 8 out of 10. Okay, just the 4 albums to go now. Next album is Arctic Rain, and the album is called The One. These guys are Swedish, melodic rock, very much like Eclipse, heavy riffs, melodic, rock solid vocals, catchy songs. Very cool start for this band. I have to give it 8.5. It's very cool, very melodic. Love the riffing style. You know, it's got that edge, got that little bit of rockiness, the speed. The vocals are mostly very good, slightly accented, but still very good, very melodic. Production is like 10 out of 10, the production. Awesome sound. If you like the Swedish melodic hard rock, you're not going to go wrong with Arctic Rain. 8.5, like I said. 3 albums to go. This one, I don't even know where these guys are from. I can't remember checking. They could be American, but I'm not sure. I couldn't guess. Anyway, it's a totally different music. It's rock solid, heavy death metal. The band is called Skeletal Throne, and the album is called Human Deterioration. I've never heard this band before, Skeletal Throne. I know Skeletal Remains, which I really like, but Skeletal Throne I heard for the first time a couple of weeks ago. And the album blew me away. The production on it is huge. I mean, the riffs are super, super huge. Very heavy, good pacing, good change-ups, lots of head-banging moments. The vocals are rock solid, heavy growls, just perfect for the music. I don't know if it's their debut or not, but I just love this album. I think it's rock solid. 8.5 for these guys. Skeletal Throne. 2 albums to mention. This time I'm going to Northern Ireland, of all places. Stormzone, Ignite the Machine, catchy as hell, melodic, heavy metal, great vocals. Harv, the singer, um, he's a very good singer, very melodic. The guy's got a great tone. The songs are rock solid. If you like melodic heavy metal, you're gonna love Stormzone. I mean, if you like melodic heavy, you've probably heard of the band. Although their profile is very low, some of their previous albums are really cool as well. But this one in particular, Ignite the Machine, it could be their best one yet. It's really melodic. Some of the choruses are really stand out. Very catchy stuff. Very cool. 8.5 for Stormzone. Let me get it right. But it's not my album of the month. My album of the month goes to Italy by way of Sweden. It's Lionville and Magic is Alive. A killer AOR record. Of course, when I said Sweden, I was referring to the singer Lars Safsund, the work of art singer. Anything that Lars sings, I'm all over it like a bad rash. And I love the previous album, A World of Fools. I love the albums before that as well from Lionville. And I love Magic is Alive. It's so awesome. It's so melodic. I mean, it's just a joy to listen to this classic AOR sound. And when you have Lars singing the melodies, I mean, it's superb. The main man, Stefano Leonetti, he's very solid songwriter. I mean, he's a very cool AOR. He knows the AOR songbook. It's like the guy, he knows how to craft the riffs good, solos in the right place. Everything sounds really good. He even sings one song, Magic is Alive. His voice is okay. I mean, to be honest, I would have preferred it if Lars sang the whole lot. But I mean, Stefano, he probably wanted one song to sing. I think he always sings one song on every album, which is okay. He might have sang another one as well at the end. I'm not sure, but in the main, the songs are just very cool. It's as melodic as ever. The production is really clear. It's quite heavy even at times. Like when you listen to the guitar, it's really cool. I mean, the ballads, I'm not a huge ballad guy, so the ballads are, yeah, I just listen to them. They're pleasant. But when they get to the rocking parts, the classic big choruses that Lars delivers with perfection, I'm all over it like a bad rash. I've given Lionville a 9 out of 10 this month. Yeah, it's on the same level as the previous album, A World of Fools. I don't know. This one might surpass it, but they're very close, neck and neck. So I gave that a 9 out of 10. It's my album of the month for August. And that's your lot. Enough talking. Check some of these out if you haven't. August was a solid month. Not the most amazing month, but a solid month of music all round. Stay tuned.